Welcome back, everyone, to Incognito Banter. This week, we have a very stacked episode. We are going to talk about episode 2 and episode 3 of the show we've been watching, Fool Me Once, on Netflix. We're going to talk a little bit about the Xbox shutting down, and you might be surprised, Xbox is shutting down, but no, it's just the Xbox 360. We were confused as well when we were researching for this week. We have a really fun Reddit this week, and we're also going to brush over a little bit about Shane Gillis hosting the SNL after being kicked off.
Nice. Yeah, so, I mean, I will say this. Shane Gillis, no clue who the fuck that is, honestly.
Yeah, same.
Honestly.
I was researching, and I didn't know why this was significant.
I knew him. He's a pretty funny comedian. Like, I even saw that SNL episode. I saw some bits. They're pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think he had one called "White Men Can Jump" or something like that. And it was the whole skit was him being a white guy that can't shoot, but then he put on the Trump shoes. And he still can't shoot, but he just goes around gaslighting people. He's like, no, that was so in. Look.
The new shoes? You're talking
Yeah,
about,
the new
oh,
shoes,
shit.
the Freedom ones. Or
So
whatever
wait,
the fuck.
so they actually made them?
Yeah.
People actually got them.
Yeah.
Damn, there goes my theory.
Yeah, and then like he just like in bed with his girl, and he just like, that was the best sex you've ever had in your life. She's like, well, you only lasted like 8 seconds. She's like, no, that was 2 hours. You're
like,
crazy. Yeah. You owed pretty hard.
You owed pretty hard. You owed.
Yeah.
So Shane Gillis, first of all, what got him kicked out?
So he was supposed to join the cast in 2019,
Yeah.
but he made some homophobic remarks and some racial slurs. Like a video from way before popped up on the internet, and
Yeah, that was pretty popular. Not popular. That was happening very often back then. Like even Kevin Hart got canceled for some of the stuff that he said.
Yeah.
I think it was something about beating his kid or something. I
Yeah,
forgot what
it was like if my doll, I think it was like if my son ever plays with a dollhouse, I'll break it over his fucking head.
Oh, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
because
Just not
like
sensitive. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, it is sensitive for some people, but it's like, I mean, I don't see, like, a parent can set whatever boundaries they want to set for their kids, and I think we should be okay with that. Is it right,
Yeah.
wrong? I think that's the parents'
I don't
prerogative
think-
between.
I don't think whatever boundaries. I think there's.
But I mean, it depends on how you're raising. As long as you're not abusing the kid or causing mental problems, then
I'm with you about the whole like he shouldn't have got kicked out of the Oscars because of this tweet from like
not
10
Oscars,
years.
SNL.
It was no, I'm
No,
talking about Kevin
it,
Hart.
it was.
Oh, you're
yeah,
talking about Kevin Hart.
was trying to
Never
host
mind,
the Oscars or something. Yeah.
But the implications of that tweet was literally I'll hit my kid if he was homosexual. That dangerous grounds. Like,
that is
coming from a comedian on Twitter. Yeah, I don't think that's like a real thing he meant. But if I,
coming
like,
from a comedian, right? That's where it is. Like,
but it's
comedy is such
it's a dangerous message when you're a person of influence, right? Listen, it's not okay for some people.
Where do you? Okay, so here's my question, right? Like, how do you
I don't
know the
answer it.
how do you differentiate between common sense and, like, how do you navigate through, hey, it's common sense, or
can't.
doing the right thing versus
cannot.
I can't have freedom
Yeah.
of speech anymore because I'm influential.
You can't. You literally cannot like discern that or like differentiate with common sense with people. That's why like kids ate Tide Pods. You have to have a label on your coffee. It's like caution, it's hot, or signs that's on snow
it
that
sucks.
says it's slippery.
No, but if you can't, like, so just because you become famous, now you lose your freedom of speech.
It sucks. I
Right, like, and I don't think that's
I don't like
right
that.
though. I think that yes, it sucks.
you're not losing your freedom of speech.
Yes,
No,
you
no,
are
don't get me
100%.
wrong.
You
No,
can't
no.
say whatever you want.
You can, but there are
So-
consequences just like in life.
so the whole thing is
The
this.
consequences cannot
So
be.
I think there needs to be some sort of a statute of limitations. Like I think that's what needs to be, because Kevin Hart, when he got called out for that, he's like, he probably did that at that point even
was like
5
10
plus
years-
years,
10 years
5
ago,
10
yeah.
years ago, at that point. And that it's been some years now, even since that even happened, like since he got denied hosting the Oscars. And I'm like, that kind of sucks. Because I was watching some shows, and some of the stuff that they said on these older shows, you're like, you can't say that today. You can't say that today.
And
But
any like
Yeah.
one of
But
the
it's
best,
recorded.
Yeah, one of the best comedians like to exist, Dave Chappelle. Anything he says on most of his comedy specials, you cannot say.
But
Yeah.
that's a comedy special, right? That's his bit. That's his that's when you go to a comedy show,
They're not just bits.
you're going
They're
in
not
with the
just bits.
mindset.
They're very opinionated. I don't know if you've seen some of Dave Chappelle stuff. I love Dave Chappelle.
No.
But
Yes.
like they're very.
he's gotten so his stuff's gotten pretty like way more charged, racially
Towards-
charged, and
yeah.
all that stuff than it used to. Before it was just more like playing into stereotypes, like I'm a black guy, so this.
Yeah,
right?
it's like hide your money, y'all. There's broke people around, like the
Yeah.
reparations bit and
Yeah.
all that at the Chappelle show. But now it is very racially charged towards the LGBTQ community. He leans into it. He talks about it. He's like, I am punching down, but it is what it is. He says it himself.
Yes, but okay, that's still a comedy show, right? Outside of that comedy show bubble, he loses all sense of say, right? Like Taylor Swift can't come out and say like anything, right?
Yeah, her brand is way different.
Yeah, and she can't have any opinions of her
That's
own
an
because
active decision.
it's not an active
It's an
decision.
active decision to have a brand. It's an active decision to be like, hey, I don't want to. I have a fan base. If I'm willing to say this and offend 3% of it, that's something that I don't want to do. Those are active decisions. Hey, I live in this world where this is going on. If I say this, I'm going to offend this many people and maybe lose out on opportunities that are presented by X. It's an active decision. That's
Yeah.
why, like, for lack of better
So-
words. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't
Yeah,
mean to
go
cut
ahead.
you off.
No. Yeah, go ahead. I
But-
thought you were done. My bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. But lack of better words and like, to simplify the situation, that's why Kanye is in the situation that he's in now. He's saying what he wants. He's using his, freedom of speech. But is it right? I don't fucking think so. I don't I don't endorse it. I would never say that shit.
You didn't buy the Yeezys after the Super
His
Bowl.
fan base didn't react the way he thought it would. It's a big thing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and like everyone else that's in power, including Adidas, dropped him, and they're like, all right, cool. That's just not what it's gonna be.
yeah. So going back to the whole like Shane Gillis thing, right? How was the reception?
People loved him. The thing is, afterwards, after him getting kicked off of SNL and
Yeah.
stuff, like he still continued on with his like sketch comedy and like other things in his specials. He's super funny. Like I saw his Netflix special, like it was funny as hell.
So your support is racism?
What?
No, I'm just joking.
And like I
Oh,
even
is
saw
this dude? Okay.
Yeah, and I even like I've been watching some of his like YouTube stuff, and the SNL was funny, and like I saw his like I watched like a couple of other podcasts, and he was on there, and he was on there too, and I think it was good. I do think that if I'm being 100% honest, would he have fit well with the SNL cast with his type of humor? No, but I'm glad he got an
As
episode.
a guess, yeah. 5 years is basically when this all rolls over, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. So he actually, in his monologue, I think he even referred to when his offer got rescinded, which I think is funny because, at least he's like, yeah, well, this happened.
He thankfully laughs it off a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit bitterness probably, but it seems
SNL
like his career went okay.
SNL got a lot of hate for it too when they rescinded the offer the first time around because it's like you got to better vet people.
Yeah.
That, you don't run into these issues after you announce them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's actually not a bad point.
Yeah.
It's not a bad point.
Like if you know that their social media had something like this, what is your team doing? Because I mean, this is all logistics that like before, like at my job, before hiring me, they do a fucking background check. Like that's exactly what they needed to do.
When you are a media personality, like what do you think is the move? Like do you like if you find someone like this that's talented and you're like, I want you on my show, and you find like 1 or 2 clips, do you say, hey, delete everything off your social media right now, or do you say, yeah, we just can't hire you?
Depends on the person.
What does that mean?
I don't agree with delete whatever. If there's something out there that you don't this is a personal opinion.
Yeah.
If there's something out there that you're like, hey, we can't hire you unless you delete it, I wouldn't extend the offer in the first place. I'd like, these are artists. Are you gonna really tell someone to delete their art or try to remove all online presence of this artwork that they've done before?
No, so I think it's just a PR thing, right? At the end of the day, and people have PR managers. for this case. So if let's say in this case a comedian is talented
Yeah.
and fits really well, but clearly times change and things you could say back in the days versus now
agree.
has also migrated because people are different, like their emotions have evolved as well.
Yeah.
Right? So if in this time certain emotions are heavy, then if someone looks back, they're gonna find that to be an issue. So you would recommend the artist to be like, hey, if you're okay with this, would you delete it, and then we can offer you a position. Otherwise we can't, because we cannot be liable for whatever that is.
Is that common practice that people just go back and start scrubbing their stuff?
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah. But there are sites like the Arc, all the way back, or way back time machine or something like that.
I know there's a site called like archive.org or something.
Yeah, archive.org
that literally
also
just has
does that.
like I've seen some old I don't know if we've talked about it on here or offline, about like trying to watch Dragon Ball Z, like the Toonami version.
Yeah.
And they have it on there. That's like one of the only places to get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's Shane. All I have about Shane Gillis. I don't know if anything else happened about this, but yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good episode. I definitely think you guys should watch it.
I didn't watch it. I gotta do it. This was this past week.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else happened in the episode that was kind of cool? I don't know.
No,
Who performed?
he had
Who performed, man?
He had a couple of good sketches. Like one of them was like, like an HR meeting with the staff, and it was just like, and they're like,
that's funny,
like
actually.
You could only ask someone out once, and if they say no, it's a no. And he just like kind of asking questions. He's like, okay, so and he asked this one coworker out. Let's just say her name's Ellis. And he's like, Ellis, would you go out with me? She's like, no. He's like, all right. So my second choice, Phil, would you go out with me? And she's like, yeah, but I didn't like that you called me your second choice.
Right.
And he's like, okay, now can I bank her yes and use it on Ellis? And they're like, no banking yeses. He's like, okay, so at the end of the fiscal year, does my yes or does my one ask reset? And he just asking all these questions.
That's pretty good.
And then like he bought like one of his gay coworkers asks, so he just asked Alice again. He's like,
oh my god. So Saturday Night Live. I mean, I've seen quite a few episodes of.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they've been going on for decades at this point. But yeah, I got to get back into it. I was at a random kick where I was watching them. They show up on Hulu, like the next day or a couple days later. So I've gone on this kick of just watching them every Monday.
So the thing is, I can't watch too old episodes because, like, like they're very current with the times, and you forget a lot. So you're just like, oh, what the fuck is this about? like
God, I have this issue with podcasts too. I've tried to go back and listen to some of them, and I'm like, if it's because there are a lot that I listen to, just all current events. And I'm like, man, I know all this stuff now. Like all their predictions, I know whether they're right or wrong. So I agree with you, man, on that. And also production value changed quite a bit. So
yeah. But yeah, that was pretty much it for Shane Gillis. And let's get into Fool Me Once. I stand by my thoughts from last episode where I think it's garbage. 3 episodes in, I wasted 3 hours of my life, and how close are we to the truth? Not at all.
I'll be honest with you, you're not gonna find out the truth until like
I will, dude.
Almost a very end.
It's got to be that.
I fucking knew it. I know I'm wasting my time. Just show me the last couple episodes, man.
I also say this, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I saw the first episode and thought it was okay. I think now after the next two, it's okay plus.
Yeah, like it will build, right? Like I think
like it's just I'm just gonna increment it every couple episodes, but the whole thing is, I think the plot moves very quick in here, and I like that.
Yeah,
it moves a lot.
They go for a lot of. All the characters have an arc in the sense that at least their story that helps them move. I don't think that's
also my problem.
But bro, everybody sucks here.
Yeah, no, that's my fucking problem. How is everyone involved in this? Like everyone in their fucking lives is involved. Like the fucking soccer coach was involved.
Well, his going into the episode, his car got stolen, but Yeah, I don't know if he.
His car got stolen at the end of the episode. Episode 3, we are at his house with the bike,
With the bike.
Yeah, dude.
which showed up in the.
And I will also fucking say, man, I was so that was the bike got stolen. Sorry, not his car. His bike got stolen. And I will say this bullshit. Like, this whole weapons shit. It's her fucking gun, dude. That did the deed, right? So it had to be.
No, but they got.
It was deactivated, but she pulled it, and I'm like, I was telling my wife this before I started. I was like, dude, she's military. She's trained by the military.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. Deactivated guns are deactivated. I'll just save you the trouble. Don't go down that spiral.
Firing pins. I don't know. Okay, fine. like I was like, the only way that they can convince you otherwise is if I start episode 4 and she just uses the gun as like, just to kind of prove
blunt
a point.
object.
Well, just to prove a point, like, oh, I have a gun and it's loaded, and like to scare this person, but. You're not gonna fool me. Why is it loaded with bullets? Why did they have to show us the bullets?
But why would you
But
do
that's
that?
not the same gun.
I thought it was.
I thought it was.
No.
Okay. I'm just like, why would you do
okay,
that
so then-
when you think your daughter's kidnapped? Why are you trying to prove a point?
She's at 2 of these, whatever the fucking weapon that
Glock
she had.
9s.
No. It could be a different weapon, guys. You guys do understand.
Okay.
Just because they look similar doesn't mean anything.
All right. Also,
Listen, man.
I'm not giving anything
No,
away.
I know. I
just
said, listen,
literally,
man.
yeah.
who was the guy? Willie the Whistle, or what was his
Corey.
name?
Corey. I know, dude. When they introduced him and they pretended that he was like trying to give us this this murder that's off after her and shit. I'm like, Corey the Whistle. How are you afraid of this dude?
Yeah, no. And then
Dude,
my
he's
best
a
thing, my favorite
scrawny-ass
part,
kid.
my favorite part, his security. They're like all roughing her up and putting her on the ground. They're like for Corey's safety apparently. And then like they're like, oh, let's take her to the house. And then they just lock her and scrawny ass Corey in the fucking house.
She could take Corey down, like beat the shit out of him, like literally murder him. And by the time she's done with it, like she's out, they wouldn't even know.
Also, isn't it Corey a chick's name?
It's both.
I've seen guy Corys.
Oh, as I take that back, Boy Meets World.
Yeah. Also, if you have seen that Apple TV show called The Morning Show,
I've not.
they have a character called Corey. That's a dude.
Oh, fair enough.
Also,
Yeah.
Corey in the house.
My brother had a crush in elementary school with some girl named Corey. I have a sample size of 2 that I know. Now 3, I guess. But the whistle. Fuck him. I guess.
I know
Did he
your
have a
brother.
crush on him as well?
Also, I will say this. Dude, for this guy who's like, a conspiracy theorist,
He didn't-
just a solid gust of wind could knock down his entire facility. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just a solid gust.
Oh, yeah.
But he's
Dude.
got all the security cameras, all like the automatic locks and shit. But dude, just the freaking big bad wolf can come in and knock this shit
Yeah.
down.
You know what's more like scary? The girl Abby, right?
The daughter.
No,
Or you talking about
that's
the
Ella. Ella's the daughter.
Oh,
Maya's daughter is
I mean-
Ella.
I mean, sorry, I'm
and
thinking of
Abby
Claire's
is
daughter.
Abby's Claire's daughter, who is the sister's daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, and she went to find who her mom was dating or whatever.
Oh my god.
And
Her mom's baby daddy.
this guy,
Maybe.
this literal guy's fucking house had 6 locks, and she went alone inside that room. Who the fuck does that? That's fucking wild.
That's crazy. I just want to go back to Corey.
let's not steer away from that.
I just have a question. The video he leaked, I don't know much about military, but like that just seemed like regular military shit. Like she like it's not like people like don't make like independent decisions like that without any sort of approval.
I think
they do. That's the whole thing. They need
No,
approval.
Like without approval. Like they don't make those without approval.
Yeah.
So like I'm guessing someone cleared her and it's like go bomb it. And
So-
she just
the controversy was the audio. I think is
Audio is the one that is not there, right? And
that's one.
she lost her job. So something's got to be there for her to lose her job.
I feel like the government would do that with just things even they sanction you for, and like the public gets like butthurt because it's military, and if at the end of the day you're killing people and you can't be sure 100% of the time. Like I'm again, I don't fuck with the military. I'm gonna be 100% with you. I think the world is over militarized, but it's war. And like, in those moments when you're there, I don't think you could 100% vet a situation. So there has to be a margin of error. Not, it's never going to be 100%. Like, but like, you can have like a 20% margin of error, but like, you still got to like understand that it's war.
I think a lot of these questions will be answered in further episodes. So
I certainly hope so, man.
Yeah.
I'd be annoyed as fuck if this show ends with
They
like,
leave this as an open-ended thing.
You're like, choose your own ending, or like, what is it? Write your own ending.
Yeah.
God, fuck that noise.
I think it happened. I think so. All of these episodes kind of build on each other, and all the characters things. There's a lot of like fake directions that they're gonna send you in, like misdirections.
They're doing all that shit already, man.
Yeah.
I'm like annoyed as fuck because I'm like, nobody's good here, right? Like this Curious bullshit with getting money from the oh my god, what the fuck is their family's
The
name?
Judith Burkett family.
Burkett family.
Yeah.
And then like this other like this other person getting money for like
Damien
26
Dark or some
years,
bullshit.
Dr. Dark or Mr. Dark or some bullshit.
I think the only good guy in my eyes so far is
The assistant detective.
Kyrus's partner.
Kyrus's partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he only
I don't
has
think-
one secret in this show, and that's about it. And that ain't even.
I don't even trust Ella, bro. Like,
No.
like
His
she's not really in danger.
His
Yeah, that
secret-
2-year-old.
His
Fuck that
secret is that he's an idiot. I don't think that man's qualified to be a detective.
I don't know,
I'll be
man. He's
100%.
doing some detective ass shit.
Yeah, he
trying
is.
to figure
He's
out this
learning
guy's
on
like,
the job, but I don't think he's.
He also just figured out. He was at least figuring out Kyrus's secret, right?
Yeah.
With the videos.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
I mean,
He just pulled up video cam footage.
If
and
time lapses to.
I can't believe that's not like a policy that
violation.
they had. No. I
He
can't believe
lied.
that was not due diligence they did as soon as this guy said, hey, there's a car crash that I was in with a company car or police car, and it was because of a cat. And like, it's not like this guy like did some door cam like Nest footage. He's like, oh
Did
yeah,
he-
there's a fucking camera.
Did he
right
tell
there.
everybody that it was a cat thing? I thought he said like
to the
to his
detective.
partner. He said it was whoever he is.
No, he to
he
the
definitely
chief.
said a cop.
To the
He
chief.
told the chief as well.
That too.
The chief should have done it, or at least someone who's working
Yeah,
in inventory or something.
If
Like I don't know.
claims.
Claims, yeah, whatever you
Go
want.
Like
figure,
who the
right?
fuck insures the city? Like
or like where could they find a detective that could do this for them?
I know.
It's not like they work at a police station. Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
side topic, but do police cars are they insured by like
Yeah,
regular
100% they're
commercial-
insured. Not for regular. They have their own government.
I
one.
mean, the government's probably using an insurance company, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like even for us, when they insure our vehicles and stuff, like there's a lot of us, but they don't care as much,
yeah.
right? Because we're the small fry. We're insuring like 1 or 2, maybe 3 cars.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, a lot of things happened, right? We still think Shane is weird.
wait,
Right?
who?
Shane?
Oh yeah, the friend, right?
Shane
the,
Cassier.
For a second, I
the
thought
ex,
you were.
I was like
For a second,
Not
I thought
the
you
ex.
was
He's not
looping
the
it
no,
back.
no, the ex-military guy. I mean, like,
Yeah.
or maybe
Her friend,
active
her
military.
friend,
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever it is.
For a second, I thought he was looping it back to SNL. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. No, that guy. So once she told him about the bug, go figure, it went away. But Corey the Whistle.
I love.
But no, the bug was for Corey's car.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like
Yeah.
the fact that Corey the Whistle's on his side makes me second guess that thing that he's. I don't know. But maybe the whole thing is I don't know what this Shane guy would gain from either side, unless
Maybe
the
her.
sister-in-law is a real one. I don't understand how this, like in that flashback of like when she stumbles upon the clothes of like the.
That was not that wasn't flashback. That was the
no, that
present.
was in real time.
It was real time.
No. But like as soon as she touches the dress shirt,
Oh yeah.
we have like a little flashback to the fucking nanny cam footage. And I'm like, no one saw that.
I wonder if it's like audience work.
I think that's audience work.
Yeah.
It's just to remind you, like, oh, this is what he was wearing.
And like
Yeah.
everyone in that family dies. Like one of the brothers died at sea. Her husband died of something.
killed himself. He killed himself.
Yeah, and like
The brother who died at sea killed
Yeah.
himself. Yes.
no, brother
Yes.
died at sea.
Yeah.
He killed himself. He jumped.
Oh, he.
They said that. Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
I mean,
It is weird, right? Like
Caroline said that, but Judith didn't say that.
No. It was not Caroline. What's his name? What's Joe told Maya that,
I don't think so.
but she kept it to herself. Yeah, that's what it was. Joe told Maya in a flashback, like they show us this. He was like, "I have to tell you something. Andrew died and blah 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 blah, but in fact he jumped. He didn't fall in."
Okay, that could happen. Yeah.
And so that was the whole thing. Joe said that to Maya,
Cool, but
and she
like
kept it to herself.
the sister-in-law's husband also perished in some way. They apparently like everyone that had a significant other or anything just ends
It's
up dying
culture,
in this
man.
family. Yeah, it's culture. They're all alive and they're playing this sick game for insurance fraud. I don't understand
How
why.
would that work? So all the significant others died, but Joe died in this case instead of killing Maya.
No,
I
like
feel like that doesn't make any
no,
sense.
you could make a choice. I think.
But-
I think the thing is make a choice. Either kill your loved
But
one.
you saw-
But they're all
but
linked
you
to
s-
that company, right? They're all linked to a company, and that was the other thing. Or they work together. I forgot what the fuck it was, but they all like at least Claire and Joe work together.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, something sketchy they found out.
But what do you guys
And
think is
either
going
they
on
got-
with Claire though? Like, how did she die? Why did she die? Because you guys were talking about like
affairs.
and shit.
Yeah, I think
so-
she found something out, man. That like I originally thought it was an affair, but this episode they talked about how the two of them worked together. I still think they were fucking, but I don't think that's the reason they got killed. I think they uncovered something, probably some secret to their wealth. Do you remember the movie Hide and Seek? How their wealth was
Yeah.
through
It
games
was
and
some demon shit.
to preserve it. Every time someone marries in, they have to play the game, and of course one of them was Hide and Seek, and
Dope
gave us
movie.
some great
I
entertainment.
really want to watch that movie again. I think we had like a real nice bender of watching Samara Weaving movies.
She's a good actress, man.
Yeah.
She's a very niche set of movies,
Listen, I like all
and I
of them.
love
though.
all of them.
They're all good. They're all good. Just it also helps that she's Hugo Weaving's niece,
and she looks a little bit like
just enough like him,
yeah.
right? Or like that family. But
her.
It was not hide and seek. It was Ready or Not.
Ready or Not, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. And I will say like the whole thing with my whole issue is that anybody and everybody has something that connects them to each other in the story, right? And I think that's the storytelling there, right? Of course, you want to keep us engaged and keep all the characters relevant, but
Claire died
yeah, Claire.
a couple of years before Joe,
Not-
right?
yeah.
Or months before
months
Joe.
apart.
I think it was 6 months.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe tighter.
yeah.
But yeah, it was basically. But with Claire, I think she found out something. Joe, no fucking clue. I think Maya killed him, but that's a whole other thing.
I think she found out something. I think she found out something, and then the mother-in-law, busy business lady, is like, just kill her, and then
Actually, whoever not technically, but thinking about it, logically, likely the same person who killed Maya or Claire killed Joe, and so I'm like, if I think Maya killed Joe, maybe I'm inadvertently thinking Maya killed Claire.
Maya can't kill Claire. She was
abroad, I
She
know,
was
but
abroad.
but there's other ways. Maybe she
Hey,
was.
She's not just a broad.
Right.
She's a mother.
Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she just said she was, right?
No.
Like,
I think she was.
So
She was, because all of this stuff with Corey happened during that time. So that kind of puts her there. Like, she has to be in the war zone
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
Corey
for,
the whistleblower.
for the
Corey
whole
the
Corey the
Whistle.
whistleblower arc to happen. And yeah, so again, just with the information we have, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's go around and say what you guys think is who is the actual killer.
Oh, I think it's still corporate. Corporate bitch.
corporate Judith.
You think
Yeah.
Judith killed all of them?
She's like, she knows what's up. I think she's like irresponsible and in it, or like the older brother. No, the older brother is too much of a bitch in most cases.
Yeah, whoever the lanky like 7-foot brother of theirs.
yeah, like the
They're like, you
useless-
want some scotch?
Yeah, at like 7 in.
Fuck off, guy.
He's like, this is how I deal with death. He's like, all right, what about the other 4 days of the fucking week?
Yeah,
Or 6
right.
days of the week, dude. Who are you mourning then?
I'm in solo team Maya. That she killed him, but
She killed both of them. One of them,
it's-
none of them. Like,
I still think it's got to. Well, it's a Maya Shane combo, but I think Maya killed at least one of them.
Who is taking care of the kid?
What do you mean?
Like Maya's kid's like 2, right?
Yeah.
Wait, when?
So
When she was abroad?
yeah.
Joe is.
Joe. He was alive until...
No, I understand.
what-
Until he
what-
died. Yes.
He died recently.
Yeah.
So-
He was a decent father.
So that puts what's the kid's name?
Ella.
And the nanny.
So
And the nanny. Yeah, they had
yeah.
a nanny.
Okay,
Full-time
so
nanny.
that puts Ella in the same location as both the murders.
No. I don't think that 1-year-old toddler
I
just
think
rolled up to Claire's house and she's like, Claire,
I think it is.
Auntie Claire, pow pow.
Pow pow, motherfucker.
I think it was. I think it was her. That's my second guess.
So your first guess is Judith, and your second. So you're covering the whole age range by like the oldest character and the youngest. character.
the grandma, the granddaughter, and then the third guess is that shady ass military friend of Maya's.
Shane.
Shane.
So none of you think
I don't remember character
Kier's.
names.
Addie,
Who's Eddie?
Claire's
No.
husband, the drunk.
Eddie, yeah, no.
He seems what's a nice way of saying useless? Like I don't think that guy has it in him.
I mean,
Especially with the shit going on. Like, there's some high level espionage shit. I don't think that guy doesn't
Yeah.
even stand up to his
I thought
daughter's
it-
like soccer coach.
I thought it for a hot minute because when he was freaking out so much about this extra phone that she had. I don't know. Let's see if the plot thickens.
he also didn't know anything about where. Like he was like, "Oh, I don't remember where I was during Joe's murder," and he also
But he was also That's
he said I went to a gym. He doesn't look like a guy who goes to
Yeah.
the gym. Come on.
Yeah, they. Nah. I wouldn't put him. I wouldn't put it in him yet.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that guy's fat and useless.
Hey, you can't say that.
Yeah, I can.
He's not that fat, actually. If you look at him, he's actually not that fat.
Big dude.
Because he's just a big guy.
I put it to like he didn't know where he was specifically because he was drunk, but he was very aggressively pissed about the cell phone. So I'm like,
And she put him on his ass. And she's like, there's multiple times where she makes like alcoholism jokes and beer jokes with that guy. He's like, oh, is there any fucking beers left?
it was
Like,
so.
he has like a drinking problem.
No, he has a drinking problem post Claire's murder.
And there's a lot of subtle.
Before he was like a very active father and
Active.
There was a lot of subtle shit too. Like remember when the cops came to his place and they're like, he's like, hey, can I offer you guys a drink? He's like, yeah, I'll take some water. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he was disappointed. He's like, man, I don't have anyone to fucking drink with because these kids are fucking underage.
Like,
Finally thought I would get some company. Those are my predictions. What about you?
me, I have
he's
seen
seen
the
it. Yeah, I
show.
was saying.
Okay, you can't have predictions.
He knows
Yeah.
the outcome, bro.
I don't think. No, see,
predict-
here's the reason I asked. I don't think this show is gonna solve everything. I think it's gonna be some bullshit.
It's a limited series, so there's no spoiler here that they solve everything because the show ends. There's no second season. So everything is answered.
If it's not like the only way I would think this show is fucking awesome is if it's a fucking daughter. If it's a
If
2-year-old.
Ella did it somehow.
If Ella did it, like that
You guys watch The
sociopath.
Simpsons, right? It's like the whole thing about who killed
Monty
Mr.
Burns.
Burns,
Yeah. Maggie. Yeah, so I have an idea. Do you guys want to just cut to the chase and how about we watch episodes 4, 5, 6, and 7 by next week? Like an episode a day, roughly. And then we could save the last episode for its own thing. Because I don't think I'm getting any fucking answers from this show until the last episode.
And
anyway.
a week is a long time for you to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 3 weeks for this is a little long. I would love to move on to Sherlock or some other show,
Sure.
honestly.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
I'm down.
Let's do it.
It's a 4 episodes. Episode 4, 5, 6, 7.
Woo!
It's an hour-long episode. If everyone watches it one a day or something, they have more than enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
treadmill show for
It's
sure.
a treadmill show for sure.
I actually am afraid I might not be able to watch it on the treadmill.
Why?
It won't captivate me enough. Like I'm struggling on the treadmill if I'm on there for an hour, and I'm not gonna be like my escape would be this show, and I'm like, this is not my escape. This is a shitty show.
Sherlock would be a good escape.
It
I
ends
wouldn't
up
lie.
being okay. I think I can't watch Sherlock. The reason I can't watch Sherlock, it's
It's a show I would like
long.
to sit down, think.
Yeah.
and like absorb. On
Where
the
it's
treadmill,
like, yeah, like because I get on the treadmill, I'll do 50 minutes. This is perfect, the length here. I watched an hour or 50 minutes of Dune yesterday on there. God, that movie, it's not bad, but I think they could have shrunk that 2.5 hour movie or however long it is into literally 45 minutes.
See, in a second viewing, I said the same thing in the first viewing, but in the second viewing, I think this was the perfect length.
Yeah, there was a lot of sweeping shots, a lot of like long. Everything felt just slow. I fell asleep in the first 15 minutes, woke up, tried again, and it worked the second time, I guess. And man, like
You just have to get used to the pacing, and then
Yeah.
it makes a lot more sense. So it is also like, I think, almost exactly the first half of the book. So like, you know how books just build up and
Yeah.
your world is building and all of these things. Now in the second half of the book, you're gonna get a lot more story just
Yeah.
moving, and they wrap it up in the second
they
part.
got
So
to, they got to. And I will say, like
there are 6 books though, and I want them to make a movie about every single book.
I will say, I saw the old movie a while back, and it was okay. But again, it's cult classic, not going to do well in theaters. This one is trying to do the opposite, whereas like here's a big budget movie. The other one was not very big budget even for its time. And here, you have a lot of star power thrown in there, right? You had Batista. You had, I want to do a whole review of this, but that was one thing I was doing. But do you guys? This is a random other thing. Like I actually got a chance to spend a little bit of time playing video games this past week. But do you guys ever play on the Xbox 360?
I did. I played on it. I broke someone's. I watched a lot of people play because I was too young. So I was at that age where people just were like, you could sit here and watch, but you cannot fucking play.
So the Xbox 360 for me was the first console I ever bought myself, and it takes me back, right? It was a big purchase, $300. That's how much a console was back then. Now a starting point for a console is probably like $500 if you can get your hands on it.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is finally, and I mean this is at least over 10 plus years, maybe 15 plus years, they're gonna shut down the Xbox 360 marketplace. So no more Xbox. You can't buy any of the 360 games anymore. It's only Xbox One and newer. And if what they'll do is they'll probably release like a retro version or a throwback, because you can still like think about like all the PS2 games or PlayStation 1 games. You can
if you
still
get like the gold or some shit.
Yeah,
like
so they're shutting that down. But with that said, it doesn't mean that you're going to lose any content that you already have, any DLC, any games that you bought, etc. And if the game maker still supports it, or if their servers are still up, you can still play online. But it's officially the end of an era, man. And so, like for us, like at least like for like me and my friends, there's a lot of memories with this system. And don't get me wrong, like it was plagued with the red rings of death or red ring of death, right?
So I actually remember that. So I think it was like Thanksgiving time or Christmas time. My uncles got like the Xbox when first came out,
And the Guitar Hero set.
Yeah, and everyone's super fucking excited. I was like a 7-year-old kid. Everyone's like excited opening this box, playing it, and like running around and stuff. And I think I was running around, and like one of the cords for the controller, I hit it and it pulled the Xbox a little bit out. Oh, or I think it was I think I ran into the fucking Xbox itself.
Oh yeah, that could do it.
And then the disc got stuck in there, so they everyone was
weird.
fucking pissed.
Yeah.
And they took the disc out, and then afterwards they got the red ring of death. They were pissed.
Dude, it was so, yeah. God,
Not a fun Christmas for me.
I'm not surprised by hear that, but like, it was very sensitive. That's why, like, I think it started the whole thing of like standing your system up, but it didn't work well when it was stood up. But then when you laid it on its side, all the fans were covered, so it was just like a delicate balance of how you wanted.
No, so I listened to this other podcast called Business Wars, and they tell you the tale of like 2 competing companies and like the rise or fall, but they do it in a narrative way where like they bring you into the room where it happened type shit. And they had one with Xbox and PS3 or PS2 and just Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
And they described why it was that way. It's because because they got beat out by PlayStation 2 so badly. They wanted to be first to market with their new gen. I think it was Intel or who's a big computer chip manufacturer?
Mostly either Intel or AMD.
Yeah, Intel. So they heard that for the PS3, they were working with Intel, Microsoft. So they kind of partnered up, and they're like, "Oh, we want to access that chip too." There's some backdoor deals and some conversation with people from Intel. And there were two different teams, like the PlayStation team and the Xbox team, working at Intel at that time to get those chips.
Oh, my God.
And they realized that, like, oh, my God, like, there's going to be an issue if we don't delay this for at least a little bit. And Xbox is like, oh, this is it. I don't care if we have problems. We're going to lose this much money.
Yeah.
But we're Microsoft, so we could take those hits and just still be first to market and get that holiday season in.
It's actually funny that you mentioned this because, I mean, PlayStation 2 was the greatest, like the highest selling game console ever.
Yeah.
And so, like by a lot.
Didn't PlayStation 3 do well as well?
No.
No, PS3 was rushed out also because, this created a problem for everybody because PS3, when they first released it, they were taking a loss on every unit sold.
Yeah. Because they wanted the PlayStation to be the center of in-home entertainment. So that's why they had the Blu-ray disc and Blu-ray compatible.
But everyone had that, right? Xbox had that too.
Xbox did not.
So Xbox 360 at that point was, it was not quite there. Because if you think about, if you bought a Sony TV back then, I don't know what it's like now. I don't own Sony TVs. The way their layout and everything was the same as the PS3. Like the bar where you go like the bars over and you go up and down based on that.
Yeah.
That was on the TVs also. And so they wanted that one-stop shop. And 360, I don't know if they did that, but Xbox One for sure.
Xbox One did.
Do it.
But I know that with the Xbox 360, there was an acquisition on their part because they wanted to come out cheaper. They wanted to, undersell like the PlayStation in terms of pricing and come out faster. So they didn't want to do that. And what ended up happening was both the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 pretty much got royally fucked because they thought it was just between them.
Yeah.
But then the Nintendo Wii outsold both. So it was a fight for second place.
It did? Oh, shit. I know that. I knew that whenever the Wii came out, because it's just a revolutionary tech, you couldn't get it. It was the first time where whenever they released it, it just sold out.
Yeah.
And then the audience was much larger, but it was very kiddie. I'm surprised that it was that big of a difference.
I
know they had more mature games too, but
so the whole thing with gaming at that point, again, I could go deeper into like this.
Why not do it? Man.
I know a lot about it, but back then when the first Xbox and all these games were coming out, even with Tetris, right? Games were seen as something for children. Mm-hmm. And now you have this transition of going into like Halo and God of War and all these more adult gaming.
Well, the PlayStation did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
with
the first PlayStation.
With Xbox, PlayStation, and all that stuff. And then now you bring it up to like, so gaming in general was seen as this very niche group, and there was like this only small market share of people that bought these systems.
Yeah, the market size was also pretty small too. Yeah,
but then you come up with the Nintendo Wii. Nintendo was always this brand that was seen by children and everyone, like with Pokemon and like Mario, and it's like, oh, now you could play with everyone. It's not just teenagers or people like I think the cutoff for like at that time for like people that bought gaming system was like 14 to 25. Right, like that's your majority of the market share of like people that are going to play these games.
Probably gotta be younger than that even. The ending point's gotta be even earlier than that.
Yeah.
Probably.
But the Wii expanded all of it because you have grandparents playing these fucking games and playing baseball and golf and all this stuff. But yeah, no, it kicked ass. And that's kind of what prompted. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But prompted one of the Xbox's biggest failures again, the Xbox Connect.
Oh my god.
That's what I was gonna ask. Did the Kinect come with the 360, or
Yeah.
did it come with the one?
The
Because I think
360.
one had it too, right?
It was later versions of the Xbox.
They had a special bundle. I remember my cousin's husband was an avid gamer, bought all new systems.
Yeah.
He bought an Xbox 360 with the Kinect, and I mean the camera tech I hear was pretty good.
For its time.
I think they were saying
No,
the
like, very
Kinect
good.
was very nice, but I think the Wii because it's a remote.
Yeah, well, that
It was way more-
Bluetooth versus like your body trying to pick
Yeah,
up
like
movements
picking
of
up
the body.
camera tech and all of that.
Yeah.
Now that same camera tech, I'm sure it's leaps and
yeah.
bounds. You know, now you have
No one
like
cares. That's the whole
Yeah,
thing. No one cares
yeah.
anymore in gaming because it's like you sacrifice
latency.
latency once, but also like literally like everything else, like the graphics and all that kind of stuff. Like how are you gonna? It's not gonna be as cool to immerse yourself in like a first person shooter when it's trying to like when you're trying to pick up everything.
Yeah,
right?
it became too interactive. It became too physical. I think that's also a problem they ran into with the Kinect. Because, like, with the Wii, you still got to play games like Budokai Tenkaichi 3
Yeah.
or Smash Bros. And, like, where you could just sit down and relax, or even Mario Kart. With the Kinect, you have to be up on your feet.
Yeah, I mean, and then because then the Wii went to Wii U, and that was a
That was a
epic
failure.
fail, and then another at the Switch, which I think is
Switch is
well.
doing great.
I don't
yeah.
have a Switch.
I think it is. Like, lots of people I know have a Switch.
Yeah.
But enough about gaming. We could talk more about gaming
Yeah, we could
a
talk
lot.
days for that. But basically go back to the whole thing. Xbox 360, like they're sunsetting it quite for so to speak, but not really. You just can't get new content. So if you don't have it in your book, or if you don't have it in your library, July 29th, last day, for the 3 or 4 people listening, go
Yeah.
make your purchases, man.
I also hear rumors that a lot of the Xbox exclusives are not gonna be Xbox exclusive anymore. So
Oh, please bring Halo to Sony.
if
That will never
please, I
happen.
know.
Microsoft will die before.
Yeah, they sold it to 343 or not. Bungie sold it to 343, and I mean I personally think they've been doing a good job, but I don't know. I started watching the show. I don't know if you guys.
I've
if
not
you've
seen the
it
show,
or
but
not.
I've
I
heard
haven't seen
really
the
good
show.
things about the show.
I
Actually.
saw 2 episodes. Very good. I need to get back into it. Casting's very good. I personally think so, but yeah, like cross-platform games. Finally, I personally think that the developers. I get that they get business because they're like, oh, we're gonna only create for Xbox or Microsoft products, and so suddenly they're like, okay, yes, we'll distribute this in mass,
Yeah.
or we'll create a bundle with this. Going back to the little Tetris thing, right? And so I get that, but I'm a big fan of some of these things.
Just to wrap it off, man. Listen. I am sad that Xbox is shutting down, and like it's winding down. You could see it with like the
Yeah.
new Xboxes and stuff. It just doesn't compare to the PlayStation or Nintendo systems anymore. I am sad. I was never one of those people that like rooted for Xbox. I think as a kid, like there was always that debate with like you have with your friends Xbox versus PlayStation. I was always on the PlayStation side. I had a PS3, played on PS2s, and now a PS5. Right, but it was good. Like learning more about these systems and learning more about these companies. It was good to see like the underdog, even though it's fucking Microsoft. They were still the underdog in this because Sony.
I disagree so much. I don't think Microsoft was ever the underdog.
You gotta watch the presentation where Steve Ballmer introduces the original Xbox.
It's so funny.
Hilarious.
It's
Yeah.
so funny.
But-
Like even for the like I think Microsoft 360, they had like they pretty much had like I forgot what it was, but they had like a huge army base or some bullshit, and they had brought a bunch of kids and for the launch, and it was like a party. They had DJs playing music, and they're like, "Oh, gaming is gonna change forever," and like live stream parties all over the world.
And I also don't think that you're understanding that Xbox is not going anywhere. Xbox also is not winding down. You guys don't understand the enhancements. So what's the buzzword for the year, guys?
I guess enhancement.
AI. So
Oh, okay.
they
Are
have
you talking about a Copilot
they
bullshit?
have Copilot.
Yeah.
They have huge investments in
I mean, they're the most
ChatGPT.
They're the most valuable company in the world.
Yeah, they also have huge investments in what is it called? I think it's called Mistral. Mastodon, or no, not Mastodon. That's a different social network thing. But it's like a Mistran or something AI, which is huge, and they made some huge partnerships with them as well. So Microsoft as a whole, they will be improving on their TPUs and CPUs, and the next generation of rendering engines and stuff will rely heavily on GPUs and how optimized you can do those things.
It'll be custom. Everything's going to be custom.
Yeah.
That's how I was listening to a pod where they talked about how, like, a movie, for example, they're talking about, you go out to the movies, everyone sees the same thing now. They're going to get to the point where our viewing experience is going to be different one for one. Like, I'm gonna go watch this movie, and it's going to be a different movie than what you see.
Yeah.
I don't understand the value in that, personally.
I don't, yeah.
But that's because I watch movies, and I love afterwards talking about the movie. Be like, what did it, now it's going to be like, oh, like, what experience did you get versus what I got?
Yeah.
Whereas whereas the plot points could be different, all that kind of, unless it's all just like me in it and I'm making the decisions and the outcome it changes based off of that.
But I think I need a redemption from last week's Reddit. I think that was
weak
pretty,
as Reddit.
I think that was pretty weak. I think
you need a redemption too.
Yeah, I think that was my weakest
I actually
one.
forgot what the fuck it was.
No, I don't remember either.
It was the psychopath husband and then with the sociopath child.
Oh yeah. Wow, I forgot about that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Redemption.
It was kind of lame.
My 36M wife, 33F, was sued. I'm feeling resentment towards her, and I don't know how to move past it.
Why was she sued?
Let's find out.
We'll find out. As the title states, my wife was recently sued. She lost,
What?
and we had to pay. The money is a significant amount for us. We didn't have much in savings or an emergency fund to begin with, and had to empty both of those accounts. My current problem is trying to move past the resentment and anger I'm feeling towards my wife. Until now, I always felt like we were a partnership in our marriage. But since I'm the breadwinner, I can't help but to feel like I'm spending my money on something that isn't my fault.
Damn. I think he's the asshole. Is this the MI asshole?
About being sued? Or about his wife getting sued?
Yeah, and them having to pay for the sum. I mean, it could be. It was posted in our relationship advice. r/relationship advice, but let me know who you think the asshole is or if he's unreasonable.
Okay.
So as of now, you think he's unreasonable?
No one is unreasonable. I'm just messing.
So far points to him, I guess. But yeah, we'll see. If we had to pick one, right?
Yeah. I've had no problem paying the mortgage and taking care of various financial burdens that come with being a married homeowner. However, I have been the only one to put money aside in our savings account and other accounts to prepare for an emergency, like a totaled car, someone loses their job, medical bills, or an act of God. Not a stupid lawsuit where I know my wife is guilty.
Oh my god!
What does she do?
I know. I really want to find out this though.
She has a part-time job and doesn't make much money, but pays for small things when she can, like groceries or some random bills.
Part-time money, full-time lawsuit. Let's find out.
But she does take care of a lot of cooking, cleaning, and taking care of our pets.
Okay, I guess. I mean, equal.
What did my wife do?
She killed somebody.
She used LinkedIn to find her former ex-best friend. She ended up creating a realistic-looking fake LinkedIn profile with a vague occupation of recruiter. My wife ended up sending the ex-best friend, Laura, a few messages pretending to be a recruiter in her line of work.
This is it's stupid as fuck, but man, what did she do that caused a lawsuit out of this?
I want to know why the fuck you had to create this alternate personality.
Yeah. Laura finally responded thinking that this recruiter was real. My wife wanted her phone number, but Laura gave her a personal email address instead. My wife created a second fake LinkedIn profile and started to send messages to people with similar titles as Laura at her company. The messages said derogatory things about Laura, a mixture of truthful things, but embarrassing, and just some fabricated bullshit to make Laura look bad. Her manager got one of these messages that claimed that she was a heavy drug user. Laura's manager talked to her about these messages, and he felt like the messages were bizarre and seemed like someone was trying to troll or harass Laura.
She didn't pick her audience well.
Well, Laura's team had her back and helped her save these messages. Not only that, but Laura requested that she be drug tested anyway to provide further evidence that she was clean.
She failed. Hence the lawsuit.
My wife didn't know this at this point, but Laura was pregnant.
Ooh.
Several of her coworkers, including managers, testified on Laura's. Using the personal email address she got from the fake recruiter profile, she was able to find a few social media platforms Laura was on and was able to figure out that her husband's name. She did some more internet sleuthing and found Laura's husband on Facebook. Laura's husband didn't have much on his Facebook profile, but you could see his business email on it. My wife sent him an email claiming that Laura was cheating on him.
Oh my God.
The husband confronted Laura about this email, and Laura encouraged him to keep responding to this person.
Bro, she's the asshole.
The asshole. Yeah. I think the husband's totally fine. She's the asshole.
Yeah. The husband confronted Laura about this email, and Laura encouraged him to keep responding to this email and save the messages as well to start asking specific questions about the supposed affair. My wife thought she was being clever and ended up telling the husband that Laura was cheating on him during the work week. She even gave specific dates. What she didn't realize was Laura had some sort of turned on in Google Maps where it keeps years worth of historical GPS data. Some of the dates my wife gave him also happened to be days where they both worked from home together. She also ended up giving him dates during a time they were on vacation together. Laura had her husband keep responding as much as possible to my wife to back up all correspondence. My wife was able to find out when and where the baby shower was going to be.
Oh my God. This bitch is obsessed.
One of Laura's friends had created a public registry for her and had the invitation online. My wife decided to show up unannounced. The baby shower took place in a semi-public area. They had rented out an area that connected out to a public business. She did not make herself known immediately. Instead, she looks for patrons that were entering and exiting the rented out room. She was able to get the attention of a few guests that she had never met and tried gossiping about Laura. My wife was telling people that Laura didn't actually know who the father was, among other things.
Oh my God. She is psychotic.
This was at an event where her husband was This was at an event where her husband was as well. The word got back around to Laura, and she spotted my wife and apparently immediately put together all the pieces of what had happened. I'm leaving a fair amount of information out. My wife was able to find phone numbers, social media accounts, and email for all other people in Laura's circle and send them messages about Laura on multiple occasions.
What did Laura do to her?
I know. I really need to know this.
There's gotta be what did Laura do to kind of trigger this response from her?
All the messages were trying to paint Laura in an extremely derogatory light. All the events I mentioned so far took place over a year or so. My wife didn't think to mask her IP address, so it was pretty easy to find out that all these made-up messages came from the same IP address, ours. Many of Laura's friends and family testified on her behalf. Laura had everyone saved as much as digital evidence as possible, and it was a lot. Laura and her husband hired a lawyer and decided to sue my wife. They had ample evidence against her. All the saved messages, close friends, and even her manager spoke on her behalf. She showed that she went to a therapist once all of the harassment started because she was depressed and anxious. She showed that she and her husband were in counseling after the accusations of cheating. She even went above and beyond and had more drug tests done to show that she was clean. And my wife's accusations were 100% false. And even had a paternity test done to show that my wife was, again, wrong and chose to lie.
Why would you do so much for something that you didn't even do?
You did it for the lawsuit. They did it for the lawsuit.
Oh,
I honestly felt awful for Laura. There were lots of tears on her end. You could tell how much emotional stress she had gone through. She said that being pregnant during the majority of this was absolutely horrific and was worried that stress and anxiety was somehow going to hurt the baby. She was pained that her one and only baby shower was ruined by my wife, and that was something that she could never truly repay or make up. and that my wife's harassment continued even after Laura gave birth and was trying to manage a newborn child.
Yeah,
I think
mean,
I'd ask at the end, is she the asshole?
I mean, she's
come
the
on.
asshole. Like, I don't know where this is going. Where
wife-
does it go from here?
My wife has never done anything crazy before, or this crazy
I don't believe
before.
that.
Yeah, if a person can go to this length, she has done some crazy shit.
I knew
bro.
she could be a little petty and jealous of others, especially people she used to be friends with in the past. But it was only talk, no action. We were in a happy marriage otherwise. We rarely fight. We had a lot in common. We had a lot of fun together. But she really fucked up this time. I don't know how to move forward with this. I know someone is going to suggest therapy, but I really want to start building up on an emergency fund again. We're pretty screwed financially for a while.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how much this probably costed.
Yeah, there's a lot that they put out there, right? Like,
This is at least $500,000, right? Minimum.
probably more, man. Like long term, because you're dealing with stuff that's like ambiguous.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, like
Personal trauma and shit like
right? Like the counseling and all that stuff. But then it's like, how do you value like, oh, our marriage isn't what it used to be. So
Yeah.
man, but he left out a lot. One of which is, what the fuck did Laura do?
Yeah, well, why is she the ex-friend and not the current friend? Like,
Yeah.
what happened?
Also, how did it take her so long to like catch on, like Laura at the baby shower, that this was like clearly like they were, unless they were still friends, and she, like the wife, thought that they were ex-friends, and Laura was like, oh yeah, this is like a good friend of mine still.
No, but I mean, I think at the baby shower, she, like, you're busy, you're not noticing all the guests, so she just finally, because of people saying shit, she figured it out, right?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe.
so-
I guess a falling out like that, I figured it, like, again, if you're going to this extreme, I figure a falling out like that would be big, where like friends of friends would know, and
Yeah.
other, so
So I think this is actually pretty funny. The account name that posted this was Sued Wife Account. And I decided to look a little further because that's where the story ended. I'm like, oh, did this account make any more posts? They had an update post.
Oh, yes, let's go.
It's pretty long, so I'm gonna skip over some parts.
Okay.
But pretty much it's like, oh, you guys had some questions, so let me answer them. The questions were, how did she avoid jail? Why did she do this to Laura?
that's right.
Does she feel remorseful? Are you going to get divorced? Why is she only working part-time? What about therapy?
Well, she has another job to destroy Laura.
Yeah.
Like, that's her full-time
How much
job.
money
With a lot
was
of
she
work, yeah.
sued for?
That's true.
And what's next?
I want answers to every single one
All
of them.
those, yeah, we need answers to all those.
I think I'm going to have to skip because it's going to get a bit long if I do. Like, this is pretty lengthy, I'm not going to lie. But I'll get some important bits for you guys. For example, why did she do this to Laura? I think that's a pretty important one.
Yeah.
And he said, why did she do this to Laura? That's a good question. I asked her this multiple times over the past several months to try to understand what this woman did to my wife. She would tell me that Laura deserved everything horrible that my wife did to her. And Laura was a shitty person, a narcissist, a liar, and just overall scumbag. But she never really gave me specific examples. I've been pressing her for more information. And when she told me some specifics, it made me feel sick to my stomach. Not because of what Laura did, but because how far my wife decided to go due to some petty things that happened in their friendship.
Like, what happened? She didn't pass me the tea or so? Like,
Yeah, right.
Their friendship ended. How long do you think this friendship ended?
6 months ago.
I mean, it's gotta be years, multiple years.
If it's multiple years, then why would wait multiple years to destroy someone's life?
That's the part that gets me the most on this. Is like, it read like they were friends a long time ago, and then like something happened recently that his wife was just like, you know what?
I'm gonna
Fuck
destroy
that bitch, Laura.
Fuck Laura.
Yeah. Their friendship ended about 8 to 9 years ago.
Yeah, it's right. Like, I don't know. I got
What
that vibe.
did you
from
wait
the
almost
story.
They
a
had been
decade to do
friends
something?
Since early in high school. And it was over a man that they both had briefly dated. My wife dated Matt for a few months. She broke up with him because she thought that Matt had feelings for Laura. Laura said she didn't want to date Matt because he had dated my wife. My wife decided to test her friend Laura's loyalty and told Laura that she had her blessing to date Matt. Laura and Matt ended up dating for a few months. My wife stuck around while they were dating.
I
Sorry.
thought that was going a different direction.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
My wife stuck around while they were dating, and once they broke up, my wife told Laura that she had failed a loyalty test. They fought, and ultimately, it was Laura who decided to end their friendship. Note, in this case, it's not clear. Laura's current husband is not Matt.
That was my next question, man.
Secondly, I was able to get some information about her, which inspired her to do this, since their friendship had ended a long time ago. My wife said that she happened to see, by chance, not by stalking, Laura at a restaurant 1.5 to 2 years ago. And it looked like...
She still waited like 2 years for the... Oh
and it
my
looked
God.
like Laura had lost a lot of weight and was fit. My wife and I are fairly overweight. And apparently, Laura used to be overweight too. My wife admitted that she felt angry that Laura lost a lot of weight while she had not been able to do so. My wife was also insulting Laura and said that she does not make a pretty thin person and that her new muscular body was too masculine. She also insulted Laura's husband's look and physique as well. I saw both Laura and her husband in person on multiple occasions. They both look like normal, attractive people who obviously work out.
I'd bang Laura, you know?
I could also
Like,
tell.
yeah.
I could also tell my wife was irritated when she saw Laura at the courthouse the first time, and you could barely tell that Laura was pregnant. My wife admitted that she just wanted to do some snooping to try to find that Laura wasn't doing so well in life. She found the opposite and was jealous of Laura's success. She first found out both their job titles. They both work at tech companies with some sort of engineering title. And their estimated salaries by using something called Glassdoor. And if it's accurate, both Laura and her husband make really good money.
How much are we talking?
I don't know, man. It doesn't say. She also saw a photo on Facebook of Laura and her husband standing in front of what appeared to be a very beautiful large home. She said that she was angry because she knew that Laura wasn't deserving of any of this.
Because she failed the loyalty
Because
test.
of fucking Matt.
She proceeded to insult Laura about how she was not that smart, not pretty, not responsible. She claimed that Laura did this through college. Like, all Laura did through college was do drugs, drink, and have sex with anything that had a penis. Skip class and fail a lot. My wife said that she was the type who would cheat on her husband, and that she's manipulative and is always up to something. Both Laura and her husband seemed very sad and exhausted throughout the whole ordeal. I never picked up on anything sinister from Laura at all. I felt absolutely awful for her. I felt extremely shameful and embarrassed when I was in the same room with Laura and her husband. I don't think I was able to make direct eye contact with either of them.
Yeah.
So,
What do
yeah,
you do in that
dude.
situation? You're like, your wife has
This poor
literally gone
guy.
off the fucking...
Yeah, the husband, poor guy, man. It's funny how we've come so far. Yeah, it's funny how we've come so far from the beginning, where I'm like, he's clearly the asshole too. Oh,
Yeah.
poor guy.
Yeah, and he saved up all that money. I know, like, the money talk was like, oh, yeah, come on, man. Like, you got to be helping out your wife.
We found out that she's a part-time masseuse.
So she's not making much at all.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know how much masseuses
I don't think a part-time masseuse makes a lot, man. And then the next one is, does she feel remorseful? He's like, I want to say yes, she does. She has been really depressed since this all finalized. However, I can't help but think she's only sad because she got caught. She hasn't directly said anything that would lead me to believe that she is truly remorseful. She's still angry at Laura for escalating to a point of a criminal and civil case. She feels that Laura overreacted. My wife believes every horrible thing she said about Laura. She's convinced that Laura is some kind of alcoholic drug addict who cheats on her husband and is the type to lie and cheat her way to the top of her career. And somehow Laura is able to hide this from everyone in her life. My wife felt that she was trying to expose Laura for the monster that she is. She feels that Laura pressing charges and suing her is additional proof that Laura is vindictive. My hope is that she has time to think while she is doing her community service hours over the next year. I think she feels bad that I had to empty out her accounts and sell some things to come up with the money. I talked to her about working more hours when she finished community service, and she agreed.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean,
And
I feel like she says no to. I feel like if she says no to anything he asks, I mean, the fact he's staying with her after this like crazy thing over a dude, like another guy.
Another guy like
Right?
9 years ago.
Yeah. No. Even further back, right? I thought it was like they fell apart at 9 years ago.
No, yeah, but this was like around that time.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah,
Okay. That puts him in high school.
yeah.
That's the question. It's like, are you gonna get divorced? And he's like, the thought has crossed my mind. And like, just to sum it up, pretty much, he's like, the thought has crossed my mind, but like, even though I blame her, I can't help but spend the rest of like thinking that this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. And he's also
Something's wrong with him.
he's also scared, and that's a little part that he added. He's also scared because he's like, if she could do this to an ex best friend, imagine what she could do to an ex husband.
Yeah. That was my thing. I was like,
Yeah.
why they wouldn't divorce?
So, but that's like a
Living in
very-
fear.
Yeah,
It sucks.
that's a toxic ass shit.
I would still do it. I'd still be like, next scenario, I'd be like, yo,
Yeah.
here's some papers.
How much money?
So how much money was she sued for? I don't want to give a specific number, but it would take about 4 to 5 years to get back to where we were prior to this happening. If my wife takes on a full time after she's done with my community service and hands over majority of her paycheck, it may take less than 4 years. That's all.
So $500,000.
That feels like less than that.
Yeah, I don't think it's $500,000. I think it's
Yeah.
less. But like, let's say like she's making 40 grand a year.
Yeah, but it's also him also making money, and he's also the breadwinner, and he was the one who was saving majority of the money.
Yeah,
So
but I
that's why I'm
mean-
assuming.
So like,
that,
let's say
Raise
like
all the bills.
let's say
so-
he's making 60K, she's stepping up and making 40, 100K a year, and like he's saying like
I was thinking more than that, but I was thinking like even if he's because he's probably not saving. Even if he's even if he's saving 50 grand a year, 4 years gets you to 200. That's,
Yeah.
right, like so.
yeah, significant like a house worth of money, and
I was hoping that this is gonna be like a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
yeah, and it's like, oh, what about therapy? And he's like, listen, I've talked about it. My wife is not completely sold on the idea, and like he thinks it's gonna help both of them. And like he's talked to her parents who are extremely fucking pissed at her, and are pretty
Oh
much,
no, parents
Who
are
is happy
pissed.
for her right
Yeah.
now?
and pretty much begging him to stay with her, not leave her. And like they even offered to pay for therapy, but it's because it's much more than they could afford at the moment. And
I thought a different way because I was thinking generational wealth. I was like, can you pay the settlement instead?
and but she's still not agreeing to it.
How does she have a choice after all of this? Sorry, I'm not saying like humans don't have a choice, but it's like more like
Dude,
you just committed something here. Like,
how many lives were impacted by like starting by impersonating a LinkedIn recruiter, right? Like, dude,
yeah.
Are kids involved? This was very short. No, we don't have kids, and not planning on any. Planning on having any for a while. I'm like,
Yeah, it makes sense. They don't have any.
good call, buddy.
get her ready
Yeah.
for that. Yeah.
And then the last one is, what's next? That's what I need help with. I've sat down with my wife for a few times since the post, and I could feel some resistance coming from her about starting couples therapy. I think she's irritated at her parents for offering to pay for therapy for us. She has stated that she would rather us solve our own problems together without interference from someone she doesn't know. She's afraid she isn't going to like any therapist we find, and that therapist will attack her throughout her sessions. I've tried explaining to her that the therapist isn't there to blame anyone, and that they would try to help us, and that it would be very safe space for her to talk and vent about what she needs. I brought up the idea of therapy every night since the post, and every time she has had an excuse along the lines of, it won't help. The therapist will gang up on her. She isn't going to like the therapist / the therapist won't like her, or that we can solve our own problems at home.
Okay, but that doesn't mean jack shit. Like, you don't get to decide that, buddy. Like, why don't you try it first and then say that, oh yeah, see, I told you so, because you're very good at that. Like you're like maybe convey that message through another LinkedIn account. Or
I
something.
just feel bad because I'm like, I want to say a lot of things, and all of them are like negative towards her, and I just want to be like, listen, like she shouldn't have a voice in this situation of the resolution.
So one last
Yeah.
thing I want to say is like, when he was talking about like how you're scared of she's gonna like if he leaves her or whatever, the line he used was, I would like to believe she won't go nuclear on me if we did file for divorce, And one of the commenters quoted that, like the top commenter, and he's like, she's exactly the type of person to go nuclear on someone during a divorce. She has something twisted inside of her, and she really should be seeing a professional about that. And OP's reply to that was, everyone keeps saying this, so if we do end up getting divorced or separated down the line, how do I protect myself?
I was like, what? Yeah.
He's just looking for advice at this point. He's like, hey guys, like, wife's cray. How do I save my job, my life? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was that.
Much better than last week's, man.
Yeah, I know.
I think you could still do better, but I think this is still better.
I think the storytelling was really good on this one. Where like we didn't know why she's pissed. It just kept escalating.
Yeah, and we never got like an actual answer.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. If I was Laura, no one would ever hear the end of this from me.
What do you mean?
No one would ever be able to talk shit to me. I'll be like, wow, bitches from my past that I dumped. Just because how good I'm doing, how good I look.
Oh, like that way? Yeah.
Are coming after my throat.
She doesn't know that, though.
Laura does.
She doesn't know that that's why she's coming at her.
I mean, I'm guessing it's
but she knows, like, the reason why they, like,
it's
drifted,
like,
right?
That part,
it's like a vindictive, like, bitch that's after her.
Because she hasn't done anything new. They
And
haven't
also,
even
like,
seen each other.
Yeah.
Also, like, you know, you look at someone from your college or high school and you see, like, they got kind of chunky.
That's true. That's true. You can do the compare and contrast and be like,
yeah, I get it. You know,
you just fill in the blanks like, this bitch jealous.
Yeah,
I would never not speak about it. Nothing will ever not get me down.
All right. I mean, that's the story of Laura and this crazy ass motherfucking wife.
I still can't believe that shit, dude. The level of detail. This clearly wasn't her first rodeo, and I want to hear more of like her victim stories. You know what I mean?
Like, oh, this guy cut me at Burger King.
No, he's dead.
He's a vindictive, like he's an asshole that deserves everything. He probably cheats on his wife. It's like, yo, dude.
Yeah.
Like, dude, let's try to get Panero.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I mean, this was a good episode. We talked about Shane Gillis, and then we, kind of segued into a bunch of, rights for people. So I think that was an interesting conversation. We talked about the Xbox stuff.
Fool Me Once.
We talked about Fool Me
Once.
Once.
Yeah.
4-episode version coming next week.
Yeah.
And
the twofer was good. I don't think I would have had as much fun talking about it if we only did episode
one
2.
episode.
Yeah. This show would suck.
Yeah. Well, but only because episode 2 was okay. 3 was very good. Like, they did a lot.
Yeah. So we ended up with a actually fairly decent Reddit story.
Yeah.
Yeah, better than last week's.
I think so.
All right, so I think that's it for today.
All right. Peace out.
Time to hit the hay.